Welcome to Summit Unitarian Universalist Fellowship and our water ceremony today. I'm Suzanne McQuaid, your service associate. As drops of rain that find each other and build to become a track, a rivulet, a stream, a river, a sea, so we are drawn together. So are we fortunate to find each other. So are we bound together on this shared passage toward an unknown ocean and eternity. Welcome also everyone on Zoom. And Barbara, thank you.
The piece of music I'll be playing this morning is written by African-American composer Nathaniel Dett, who is one of my favorites. He wrote this relatively early in his career in 1913, and it is in the spirit of water. It is a barcarolle, which means boat song. And there are many, many, many composers who wrote barcarolles, and they all have this kind of feeling of rowing through the water, they're all the same kind of flow, but there's something unusual about this particular one. I really feel like I am actually rowing. I know this sounds odd, but rowing the piano. So, those of you who are able to see my visuals, you can kind of notice, like, especially my left hand, it's low and then it's high, and I'm just, I feel like I'm getting a workout. So anyway, I hope you enjoy Barcarolle.
Thank you, Barbara. We're so happy to have you. Welcome again to the Sunday morning worship service. Summit is a liberal religious community bound by shared principles that are drawn from world religions, humanist teachings, nature, science, philosophy, and personal practices. We are a religion of love and inclusion. Our mission here at Summit is to build a more compassionate, just, and sustainable world. And we have two announcements today. Jim Weed, come up, and Barbara.
Good morning. I have my announcement about the event, Getting to Know Us, that the Welcoming and Membership Committee is putting on next Sunday at 11:30 a.m. I remembered this week. I'll be working with my partner in crime, Pam Williams, who's my co-chair, and it's going to be an opportunity for visitors, newcomers, people who just want to learn more about Summit, as well as Unitarian Universalism, to get together and spend some time. Spend some time together. Our minister, Casey, welcome back. Summit leadership, as well as members of the Welcoming and Membership Committee, will also be in attendance. So, as I've mentioned, we're bribing people with food. Drinks and croissant sandwiches will be served. I believe there may be some other food as well. For those that need childcare, it will also be available, but please let us know ahead of time so I can make sure our daughter, Abby, is available. Now, she will be because she's stuck, because she's coming with Eleanor and myself to the event, but just to give her a heads up. So if you're interested in attending, you can contact either Pam Williams or myself. All the contact information is either in the scene or the weekly e-news. And then for another little piece of business, last week several people gave me names to print out permanent name tags. Unfortunately, I left the folder at Summit, and in Summit's efficiency, the folder with all my contact information has been recycled. So if anyone still wants a name tag, and I don't think I see any of them here this week, but if you do, just see me after the service. Thank you.
So those of you who are here more frequently will know that there are two pianists, myself and Karen Fullingstad, and Karen is going to be playing a very splendid and epic piano recital this coming Friday at 7 p.m. Some of you already bought in because it was an auction item, but you know, she is hoping for a lot more people to show up. It's only $20, and let me tell you, with her level of playing, that's a steal. And the money goes to support Summit. And Mark Weedman has kindly offered to be here from 6:15 on to have be able to take your money. So there'll be somebody out there. And please come, please invite other people. And she's playing, it's a concert of Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms, who are known as the three Bs. And she's doing a chromatic fantasy and fugue of Bach, and it's a very, very tricky piece. And a late Beethoven sonata, one of his last ones he wrote, that's incredibly intimate and exciting, and also uses some Baroque bits in it, and also some Brahms intermezzi. And I think it's going to be a program that everybody will really, truly love. So I'll be here. I hope you will too. Friday at 7. You online people come too, please.
And I have an announcement to share with you all. I am here today, very tender-hearted. I felt like I needed to be here. So, my name is Mary Carter-Vale. I'm your Director of Religious Exploration. And being Water Sunday, everybody, our full fellowship is here today, including all ages. And for us, for everybody to be able to explore water, we have a little water pool over here with natural objects in it. For anybody who wants to come and be able to touch and feel water. This is like a silent meditation. It's a silent meditation. It is a silent meditation. So we're going to do our best to have a silent meditation over here. It'll be mostly silent, but we're going to do our best. But we are including all ages because we are all part of this community. We are all inclusive here, and all ages are most welcome. So just wanted to let you know.
Whoever can do the miraculous silent meditation over there. Thank you, everyone. Land acknowledgement. We want to acknowledge that our fellowship resides on unceded Kumeyaay land. The Kumeyaay people have lived on this land for more than 10,000 years. It continues to be their home today. We recognize the abusive history of colonization in California and honor the legacy of the continuing presence of the Kumeyaay Nation. And thank you for being with us today for reflection and connection. We invite you to stay after the service for the community gathering, where you'll have a chance to give feedback or share a joy or concern. After that, refreshments in the salon, and people on Zoom, we hope by the time the reflection happens, you'll be able to show us yourselves and contribute. And we're so happy to have our new pastor, Casey Marie Pandell, with us today. And even though it's printed out, she has such a cute bio, I do want to read it to you. She hails from a spiritual yet non-religious background, and she found Unitarian Universalism by the way of theater, becoming a member at UUC Fullerton of 2017. She served as worship chair on their board of trustees. She's a lifelong actor. She has her bachelor's degree in theater from Chapman University and holds a master's of divinity from Meadville Lombard Theological School. Casey has previously served as contract minister at UUC Anaheim, interim minister of Tapestry UU through 2023 congregational year. She seeks ordination with UUA, which is why we're calling her pastor, with sights set on a long career in parish ministry. She has a special place in her heart for death care, ministry, and weddings. She's a full-time dog mom to Zeus and Vulcan, who we hope to meet soon, housemate to dogs Lilith and Artemis, and cat Persephone. She enjoys reading, writing, singing in her car, where she has plenty of opportunity to do that, commuting from Orange County to San Diego, I'm sure, Marvel movies, cozy British mysteries, and daydreaming about traveling the world. So let us calm our hearts and minds as we light the chalice. Are you the lighter? The spirit of water. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in this sanctuary, and so happy to be here with all of you today to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through rapids of transformation, and to rest upon the ponds of stillness. Together we honor the spirit of water in many forms and its life-giving essence. And we're so happy to have our president and cantor, Pierre, come up. So please stand.
Good morning, everyone. I love hearing all those voices. My name is Casey Marie Pandell. I am the minister here at Summit Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whether it is your first visit or your 5,000th visit, you are whole, you are holy, you are loved, and you are so welcome here. Our reading today is entitled Water from Melissa Jeter. Water is soft, yet it is persistent. Water flows and takes shape of the boundaries that it is given. Yet over time, water in her persistence, she can carve through mountains. When you try to grab water, you just get wet. But if you can stop grabbing at her, she will hold you up and you can float and even swim. Water under pressure cleans dirt off houses and can cut diamonds. Water raging can overflow the bounds put upon her. She can drown whole towns, flood freeways. She can put out fires and save lives. So contradictory, both soft and hard, never dominant or submissive. Water sustains, gives, and yields to life. Welcome to worship.
Good morning. So we're all connected to water. Do you feel the water connection? Right now we're having deep water play over here in our water meditation pool. But I need some helpers. Can you guys help me with something? All right, I need some helpers. I have some water to distribute so everybody can explore water in your seats. This is water for drinking, but you're welcome to put your own fingers in it if you want to. It's your water. I'm going to invite you to drink it in a little bit. Do you want to help distribute some water? These are little trays of water. Okay. There's 12 cups per tray, and if we need more, I have 60 cups. We might have a little more than 60 people, so I can always pour some more. This water came from Ramona, California, from our ranch where I live and where my kids were raised and where Paul and I built our life together. And the water, it rained in Ramona this morning. When I woke up, there was rain. And the water cycle, the way it works is the water came out of the clouds and it goes down into our plants and it filters down to they call it disintegrating granite in the hills where I live. And as it filters down, it goes deep, deep, deep into the ground, this beautiful natural filtration system. And 600 feet down as our well pipe hits the ground. And then our well sucks it up 600 feet. It's pumped up into our tank. And then through our tank, it comes into my kitchen sink, where I poured it into my little Brita filter. And I filtered it. And I put it into our growlers. These are Paul's beer growlers. I thought it was appropriate to bring them. They've been perfectly clean. There's been no beer in them. So do we have enough? Did everybody who needed water get water? Yes, you can. Let's get some water over there, too. I will pour some more. It looks like we need a little more water. Make sure everybody gets water, including the kiddos. You need some more? So this water went through the water cycle, the natural water cycle that we all have learned about in science, right? The rain comes down, it filters through the ground, and then it goes into lakes and rivers, into oceans, and then it evaporates back up into the clouds. That's the natural water cycle that we know about, right? We also have a water cycle and a water connection in our bodies. Because our bodies are mostly water. How many more do we need, or are we good? Anybody else still need water? Kiddos do. Everybody. Our water players need some more need water. We also have our water cycle in our bodies. You know, we'd have to drink water in, and it goes into our bodies. You cannot, dehydration is a serious matter, we say at camp. Right? Right? You have to hydrate. We even have a special song we sing, because when you're at altitude and you dehydrate, you can get quite sick. We all need to drink water. It nourishes our bodies. And so what I'd like us to do today is to think about the blessings of water and clean water and what it offers each of us. Because in some parts of the world, people don't have access to that. And it is a blessing and a privilege to have that. And I feel very blessed that I get that on where I live, that it comes out of the ground and I get to drink it and access it for my family and my animals. And water is also a way that our bodies express emotion. So lately I've been expressing a lot of water emotion. I've been crying a lot. Those that don't know, my spouse passed away about 10 days ago. So I've been doing a lot of crying, and so has my family. But we also can cry tears of joy. And water is also associated with emotion. So think of all the ways that water impacts our lives and how we are connected to it. So let's take a moment. Everybody hold up your water. Everybody got some water? And I'd like to invite you to take a sip and just for a moment, just really feel how it goes down in your body. Would you like some? You want another one? Okay. But just take a moment and sip it and really connect with it. We're going to be silent. If you need more, help yourself. But we're going to be silent and really think about how that water goes down your body. So let's take a moment and be quiet and drink our water. May this water bless you as it has blessed me and our family. Thank you.
Please stand for it's got peace like a water. I've got peace like a river.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul.
Pierre and Debbie.
We are a clapping friendly group. At least I think we are. Our Unitarian Universalist water communion is probably one of my favorite parts of our faith's calendar, though it's not something that was created in a vacuum. Many traditions and communities practice ritual through water. We're familiar with the baptism of Jesus by John the Baptist and the millennia-long tradition of baptism within Catholic and Christian communities. We also have celebrations such as the Water Splashing Festival of the Dai people of China and the Songkran Festival of Laos, two of just a number of water celebrations within Southeast Asian communities. Buddhism's Tingyan, Armenia's Vardavar, and countless others across cultures and faiths. The symbolism behind water can differ between people too. Wisdom, power, and grace, all to name just a few. Jewish and pagan cultures both have rituals of cleansing and purification intrinsically linked to water. And in the case of Unitarian Universalism, we use it as a symbol of our returning, coming back into community after a summer away. Often people will bring water from their travels, which is something we'll get to a bit later. And so it goes, for those who may be unfamiliar. We each add water from our lives into a larger vessel that symbolizes our community together. And that larger water vessel is a physical representation of all of our coming together again. Typically done in the late summer or early autumn, often in September. It would have been last week, sorry. People, as they come back for the new church year, will engage in this ritual together. The history of it, though, is a little more nuanced, and some of what it has become is a little more complicated than just returning. Our water communion, as we know it, is inherently Unitarian Universalist. Indeed, for once, other groups have actually borrowed from us. Going back into the mid-70s, devoted UU Lucille Shuck Longview from the UU Lexington Parish was asked to serve as a delegate for the Women's Year Assembly Gathering of the United Nations. And what she took home with her from that meeting was that religion, ours included, tended to be oppressive of women and perpetuated toxic sexism. Her report was taken quite seriously, and by 1977, the Women and Religion Resolution was passed at General Assembly, calling for the examination of sexism inherent in religious literature and institutions, starting with our very own. This push towards recognizing the gender disparity was widespread, and by 1985, not only had there been changes made to the original 1961 texts of our purposes and principles, which have changed a lot over the years, but a new principle was introduced that year. Number 7, the respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. So why does it matter for today's water communion? The path to these changes was long, arduous, and full of meetings and worship and reflection, a perfect microcosm of how we function as Unitarian Universalists. At the midway point was a particular worship service held in Lansing, Missouri, entitled Coming Home Like Rivers to the Sea, designed specifically for the UU Women and Religion Continental Convocation. That's a mouthful. Created by Reverend Carolyn McDade and our friend Lucille Shuck Longview. Together, these women created the very first water communion, then known as the water ritual in Unitarian Universalism. And it was very deliberately a feminist service, acknowledging that many theologies call for women's meekness and servitude without allowing for exploration of self and belief. The initial service invited 8 women to bring water to commingle with the water from the other participants, to share deeply the importance of the water they brought, a feature of many water rituals. The difference, however, was in the departing. The women themselves were encouraged to bring a small vessel, one that was typically tied to womanhood or femininity, a perfume bottle, for example. And they were encouraged to dump the contents of that bottle and refill it with some of the communal water that they had been a part of bringing together. This initial water communion was deeply powerful and exceptionally radical. The following would later be said about the worship. The water ceremony became the central part of a religious service that broke with tradition in significant ways. It was created by lay women, women who had long been silent in the pews. The ritual space was also made sacred by the women themselves. We gathered to worship in a way that was authentic and liberating to us, not as in a church, but in a semicircle around a large, common earthen bowl. It was a ritual of women's being connected by a universal symbol, water, a ritual of women being connected to the totality of life. I wish this was a story I heard when I'd begun my faith journey. The version of the water communion we know it now presently as is a delight, and there is a magic in it that it helps create one of the few honestly ritual things we do every year. But some have noted over the years that there can be an air of classism attached to it, as people have often brought water to share that they collected on travels abroad, something many Americans may never afford to be able to do, and yet often Unitarian Universalists can. This isn't to say that there's anything wrong with this type of sharing, that it's incorrect or improper. Authentic, honest sharing for this ritual is historically a part of the deal. What we hope to see is people bring their meanings into the moment. However, the observation is simply another facet of the various social locations that we each come from, exist within, and bring into our congregational communities. And maybe that's the key. It's less about where the water comes from, but why we are drawn to it. The water from the tap in our homes is no less worthy than that of the Rhine or the Nile or the Danube. Indeed, there may be a more personal sacredness in the water that nourishes our bodies, the water that cleanses and sustains us. In many of our cases today, that may be exactly where your water came from. The kitchen sink, the garden hose, a bottle of water in your fridge. For our part together today, I was particular in combining water that symbolizes change. I intended to have water from a hotel room that I had brought back from a trip abroad. It was my first time doing something alone, and it set me up for being able to do this journey as a solo as well. I know I'm not alone with all of you, but it's a lot of big change for a girl. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the bottle. But in this one is water from my previous congregation, Anaheim. They have sent me with the most beautiful declarations for a good ministry together with Summit and all the blessings they can manage for us. It also includes water from 2020 and 2021 that Reverend Everett left in the office for me. I've added water from my own home today, the water that brews my coffee, and the water from here at Summit that helps nourish us when we gather for our fellowship time in the salon. The source of our communal water is not what's important. All water comes from the earth, and that's important enough. Recognizing the power of our water practically as it nourishes, grows, and sustains our bodies, but also symbolically, spiritually. The depth with which we hold the importance of our chosen water, the meditative nature of our communion that I will be asking you to participate in, the knowledge that water is ever-changing, as can we be. These are the things that take our communion from droplets of meaning into an ocean of community. Beyond its empowering feminist beginnings, our water communion, as we have come to know it today, is a piece of our Unitarian Universalist faith, as crucial, I think, as our flaming chalice is. This annual practice of returning should serve to nourish our spirits and rejuvenate our souls together in the same ways in which water tends our bodies. May we always choose each other and return together as waters return into the ocean in all of our divinity. So may it be, and amen. And I'm going to invite, before I step away, Margot Mariana up for our meditation today. It is written by our own Margot.
Good morning. And I want to honor all of us in our presence of inner rivers, but also thank you, nature, that Mother Nature rained on us today. A very odd substance in San Diego these days, but they heard our prayers. So, excuse me. Let's ourselves just come, breathe. Let your breath invite and receive the sky's breath and the sunlight, and allow them to nourish and flourish your inner river. All currents of his journey to flow your knowing and growing into union and communion with all your tides, continuing to cleanse you, bring relief from the hold of old choices and beliefs. Just take a moment to breathe and allow that river to flow. And as you continue to receive, allow yourself to breathe. Let your breath be your invocation to commune with your inner river. Allow it to flow and to be a sacred permission to come and live in its rhythms. Many blessings.
Well, now I would like to invite everyone into a time of silent prayer, meditation, or reflection. I'm going to ask you, as you are willing, able, or interested, if you would like to come and add your water into our vessel, that you'll come up the ramp on the side. It's your choice if you would like to go down the stairs. Fully your choice. We'll start with the water that I brought today, and you can choose whichever vessel you would like. And I'll challenge everyone. One word about what your water means to you. You're welcome to share that word if you would like. You can keep it to yourself. If you would like to share, you can pour your water into the vessel, share at the microphone, and then walk down. Barbara will play us through.
Mission Bay.
Barbara shares hurricane.
Strength.
Enveloping.
Home.
Happiness.
Pool fun.
Great Basin National Park.
Connection.
Oregon.
Peace. Floating.
Quietness.
Moon.
Freedom.
Flow.
Fluidity.
Friendship.
Home with gratitude.
Missed.
Camp.
Family.
Life.
Summitarians.
Survival.
Love.
If anyone did not bring water today and would still like to participate in the community water communion, there's water up here for you as well. You all were fast. Thank you all for going on that journey and experimenting with me and sharing with this community what this water and what this community means to you. Because in the end, it's not just about the water. It's about coming together and what we mean and how we support each other. So who we are together as Summit and who we want to be. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Well done, Casey. We are a fellowship supported entirely by the generosity of our members and friends. We appreciate our faithful pledgers who keep up their monthly contributions. If you would like to support Summit today, our ushers will come around to collect your donations. If you are at home on Zoom, you can contribute through the virtual plate on the website. Thank you for the music, Barbara.
Today I'll be playing The Glacial Mermaid by wonderful, living, and active female composer Naoko Ikeda. And she had a little story that goes along with this. This is a statue of a mermaid in a far-off land of ice and snow because no water can also be frozen. And her dream is to be able to swim in a real sea someday. And there's a little bit of feeling of melting that happens during this piece.
Thank you. Perfect, Barbara. Blue Boat Home is about to come along.
And that is number 1064 in your teal hymnal. I had to think about that one.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Low below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains. Far away is the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way through the light of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks for the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, breathe the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Thank you. Pastor Casey has one more thing to say, then we'll extinguish the chalice and do closing circle song. Please be seated.
So I've been hearing how important your community gathering has been to this community in the years during the pandemic, and I want to make it work. I want to make it work for everyone in the room, and I want to make it work for you on Zoom. So we're going to close out. We're going to do our extinguishing, our benediction, our closing circle song. We'll have a 5-minute break. If you would like to participate in the community gathering, you'll have 5 minutes to stand up and stretch and get all your wiggles out. Use the restroom if you need to. If you would prefer not to stay, you can make your way straight into the salon. You'll have a 5-minute break. We're going to ring the bell, and then we're going to come back for the community gathering.
Thank you. Good routine. And we hope, especially Pat Summers, Alan and Betts, the Zoom people participate in that too. Okay. Extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you to the whole Zoom team today. It's quite a committee over there. Together, hand in hand.
Guys, can all hold hands. We remember that this returning together is not the only way we return. When we return to each other during our water communion, it is a commitment to each other to return again and again in community together. We hold each other in our joyful times, we hold each other in our desolations and everything in between. We let the water and this community uphold us and buoy us and keep us afloat, for we are together. Amen, shalom, salam, ashe, namaste, and blessed be. Go now in peace. May the light within you be a blessing to the world.